I hate fashion. Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about a topic that is very controversial, I guess. It's a part of life, it's a part of every day. It is fashion. Now, I just want to start this video off by saying I'm not like the most qualified fashion expert, guru person, but I think everyone can have, like, fashion is a art, and I feel like everyone can express yourself any type of way, like anyone. You don't have to have a certain amount of money, you don't have to have a certain designer to know fashion. But anyway, I'm gonna give you guys some history on me and my career in fashion. I don't come from money, basically, and a lot of times growing up I would have to take and I'm also the last child of like 8 kids, so I always had to find things that were like cheap and make them look good. So from a young age I had my own style, because like when you're putting together things and being creative with your clothes like that, it really like gives you an eye for fashion. um so yeah, that's basically where I started with fashion. Now, I like fashion, but I'm not obsessed with it. Like, I'm not one of those people that's like, fashion is everything, fashion is my life. But I do like some bomb clothes. And in the recent years, I've actually been getting more into fashion because of a certain event that happened, and I'm gonna talk about it. So basically, when I was about probably like 14, 15 years old, like I said, I didn't come from money. So like my sneakers, like, I don't know if this is just New York City, but like back to school, people always get Jordan sneakers, which cost like $200. They always get like Jordans for back to school. I could not afford Jordans, so I would always have to get Chuck Taylors, and I always got Chuck Taylors from since I was a little kid. So I always wore Chuck Taylors before they were popular. When back in the day, like, Jordans were popping, um, Reeboks was popping, Adidas was popping, K Swiss was popping, I had Chucks on. So yeah, but when I was 15, there was this thing called AXFM, right? And AXFM was basically this thing. I know you're like, what the hell does this have to do with fashion? But just bear with me. On AXFM, it was basically like anonymous website where people can anonymously ask you questions. This was like the troll website. Like, if you wanted to hate on someone, you went here. But basically, someone put on my AXFM, like, they were just trolling OD. Like, they were like, oh, my old nickname used to be Zo Rich, and they were like, oh, you call yourself so rich and you wear those bummy chucks to school every day, you have holes in your pants. Mind you, this is when I was 15, so like the holes, the ripped jeans wasn't really a trend like it is now. Converses wasn't really a trend, like you were a bum if you wore these, but I wore them. So yeah. And your Vans are dirty. I used to also skateboard and play basketball, so my sneakers got messed up all the time. But this just made me feel like this is how people see me, because I didn't see me, even though I knew I couldn't afford expensive things, I didn't see myself as like a bum. And that is a negative side of fashion. Like, a lot of times in fashion, people think if you have money, you have good fashion, which is not the case at all. You can shop at H&M, thrift stores, at Forever 21, and have very good fashion, better fashion than people who have millions of dollars, if you get what I'm saying. There's people who have millions of dollars who buy the most expensive things and don't know how to put them together. Now I'm gonna talk about working in fashion. When I tell you, this turned me off to ever buy, like, I type never wanted to buy clothes ever again after this happened to me. But when I was 16 years old, my sister's a stylist, if you guys don't know, I'll link her Instagram in the bio, but she has a lot of like designer friends. So there was like, her friend was an upcoming designer, and they were having, basically it's these things that's like, when you're a starting designer and starting model, there's these production companies, right? Basically, they provide the designers with the models, with the venue and stuff like that, and you have to like pay a fee for your line to be featured in these events. And models had to pay a fee. Also, you get free pictures, and it was just like a whole big thing for upcoming fashion people in fashion. My dream, to be honest, was to be a Victoria's Secret pink model. I have one hung up in my room, but anyway, that's besides the point. But I never had dreams to be a runway model just because like I'm not that tall. I'm 5'4". Anyhow, there were 10 designers I were going to be walking for, all of them in one event, which is like, what? You're like, what? Usually it's like one fashion show that's like 5 minutes with one designer. You know what I mean? You probably have multiple pieces, but like 10 designers. Basically what this production company did, if you were an upcoming model, they basically trained you to be a model, which they taught you how to walk, because there is a particular way to walk. Like you can't just be doing any and everything down the runway, but they teach you how to walk. They teach you how to walk in 6-inch heels for like, you had to walk in 6-inch heels. Mind you, I was 16. Had to walk in 6-inch heels for about 9 hours straight every day. And this just got you ready, just because like you don't want to fall in a designer's things, because like the designers care mostly about their things and you making them look good. They don't give a they don't give a diddly squat about you. They teach you how to do turns, they teach you how to walk, they teach you how to balance yourself, they teach you poses. During this month, it was so annoying. Like, bruh, I would go to rehearsal and the designers were just like, they solely did not care about your existence. And then the models were all catty. Like, they never spoke to you. They all act like, oh, I'm better than her. Like, why am I talking to her? Like, I'm not gonna talk to her. Like, they all acted like they were better than everyone. And I was like, and there were girls who like were really models and were really serious about it, and they looked at me like, you don't even want to be here, you shouldn't even be here, like, you know, people would give to be in your position, blah blah. And I'm like, fashion is a very serious business, as in there are people who are very competitive, designers, models, photographers, stylists. It's a very competitive field. It's just very uncomfortable. Everyone's naked in the back, and it's just really uncomfortable, especially for like me being 16 years old, whatever. It was just very high paced backstage. It's so funny because when you see the models walk on the runway, they're walking so elegant to the music, but as soon as they go back there, it's like like it's crazy. Like, hurry up, get into your next outfit, take my, the designers literally, like, especially because it was 10 different designers, so they was like, take my off, give me my garments, and get out of here. So that was my whole experience with modeling. It was kind of crazy, kind of too much for a person with anxiety, and a little bit too catty, competitive, and it just turned me off. Especially the main thing that turned me off was the designers not giving a damn. Like a designer told me like, you need to not eat this week because like you need to fit in my dress, because they sized us before, like a month before they sized us, and then make the garments for us our size, and then we model them. So like if like in a month's time you gain weight, you can't fit in the garment, they're gonna be mad, because at the end of the day it's about making their clothes look good. And I just thought that was effed up, because like no one cares about models, and like that whole thing is effed up. And I also, like, I guess worked in fashion, but not really fashion, mostly in retail. I worked at Burlington Coat Factory, and it was miserable like every other retail job. And it's so funny because my manager, like, I used to have to get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning to be ready by 6 to be there at 9. And then I was just so out of it every morning, like a zombie. So one day my manager was like, come on, why do you look like that? Why do you look so sad? I was like, no, I'm just tired. She's like, come on, be happy. She was always like, hi, how you doing? Good morning. And but she was nice. And she was like, hi. She was like, you have to be energetic. Don't you love working here? It's Burlington Coat Factory. This is such an opportunity. Don't you like fashion? Don't you like clothes? You're working at the Burlington flagship store. Like, this is legit how she this is legit how she was. And I was like, try to work so hard in school, guys, or have a certain talent, and just work so hard so you do not have to work retail. I hate these Thrasher shirts that's going around.